Hey guys, this is Joe Saint and my sidekick, there he is, up there. I couldn't see behind me too well. Frankensleeve, he's back there in the background, but since this is my jogging program, he is only in the background. He's not up front and center. See, what is today? Today is Sunday, the April 26th. Yeah, this is going to be a week 6, day number 3. This is going to be one of those major milestones, turning points, if you want to call it that. Today is a 22-minute jog. Last Saturday, it was a 20-minute jog. So it's stepping up little by little. Just approximately 6 more workouts to go after this one. I'm supposed to be done with the program. So just like last time, I'm very nervous because I don't want to fail at this, but 22 minutes seems like an awful long time to run. So this morning, got my coffee in me. Oh, here it is. Moved it over here. It's about a 16-ounce glass, so about halfway done with 16 ounces of my coffee, my bulletproof coffee. Just in case you're hearing about bulletproof coffee for the first time, it is simply coffee with a tablespoon of butter put in it. If you want to make it really, truly bulletproof coffee, you're supposed to put in another tablespoon of the concentrated coconut oil, which I think they're called medium chain or short chain triglycerides. The coconut oil is supposed to feed your brain. It's supposed to be one of those foods that your brain can break down and use almost without any effort whatsoever. But I've started getting upset stomach, maybe because the oil that I bought is getting old and maybe a little bit rancid. So I've stopped drinking my bulletproof coffee with the with the coconut oil in it, so I don't get upset stomachs anymore. But though, just that little tablespoon of butter in my coffee seems to make a huge difference in my physical feeling of fullness and in my mental feeling of fullness. It's like I'll take so many sips and all of a sudden it's like I don't want to eat anything else and I don't want to drink anything else. I'm topped off. So yeah, and let's see what else is there. Let me look around. I thought I had my crap organized, but I guess I don't. It's like 7:30 in the morning and I've been up for maybe an hour. The other things I'm taking this morning, well, I try to take them every day before I run now because they seem to make a bit of a difference. Not a tremendous amount of difference, but maybe it's psychological too, but it's just enough that it makes me feel like I'm doing better. This stuff here, L-tyrosine, this is sort of like a product called Focus Factor. It's supposed to help increase your mental acuity and your focus, your thinking, and be able to let you concentrate more and longer on your whatever you're working on. So it helps me feel a little bit brighter. My brain feels a little smarter in the mornings, I guess, or at least I feel a little more mental energy. And these other ones, Green Source multivitamins. I don't think these have no energy. They have no iron, but it's a multivitamin and it has what they call whole food concentrates. And I've been taking 2 kinds. I've been taking the Green Source and I've been taking another one called Alive. And honestly, they both seem to have the exact same effect on me. I seem to get after about an hour after taking them, I seem to get a bit of a energy boost. I mean, a real physical energy boost that I can feel, as opposed to regular multivitamins. I used to take the ones that I would get from Sam's Club or Walmart, the store brand, and I could take them for days and days and never feel a difference. And then I could skip a week or 2, and I would never feel a difference in the way the vitamins were affecting me. So these one, I would say any brand with the whole food extracts in them are better than regular vitamins, but they are more expensive. So I would rather spend a little extra money on something that seems like it's having a positive effect versus going frugal and buying the generic vitamins and having no noticeable effect on me. So I guess it's all in the way you want to look at it. So yeah, that's about it for right now. Fixing to head out there. I took some video of my front yard showing you it's kind of wet and muggy out there. Temperatures around 70, 75 degrees. Humidity's up around 95%. So it's going to be a warm, smuggy, sweaty run this morning. Fortunately, I don't hear much traffic on the highway out there, so typical Sunday morning, there shouldn't be any traffic till around 11, between 11 and 12 when all the churches start letting out around here. It's literally, I live in a little town that the main street is approximately 2.5 miles from end to end for Main Street before you leave the city proper. And there are more than 30 fast food restaurants on Main Street, and there are probably 10 to 15 churches on Main Street. I've never seen such a concentration of churches in my life, but the people around here are really, really devout, and they like to go to church. So when the churches all let out, they all let it pretty much at the same time, and so that means there was a huge, huge flood of traffic, everybody heading toward the restaurants to have lunch after going to church. So that's why I like to get out there and get all my running done for Sunday mornings. I go to the store, to Walmart, go get groceries. I want to do it before noon, before all the churches let out. And same thing with my running, because as soon as I get out there, I'm going to be on the edge of the highway for about I guess a third of a mile, something like that. I'll be out there on the edge of the shoulder of the highway, and I want to have as little traffic to distract me as possible. I've always got this, even though I'm running towards the traffic, and I always have this nagging fear. I guess like my own little phobia, maybe a fake premonition. I'm not sure what it is, but I keep imagining a car coming toward me and driving onto the shoulder where I'm standing and hitting me. So I'm always really, really wary and ready to jump off the highway into the ditch if I have to. As opposed to last time where I was tired and almost stepped in front of the car, so it was my fault then. So let me get out there and get this over with, and let's see how well I do for the new, longer 22-minute run. Yeah, I think one thing I forgot was, I was supposed to run on Saturday, but it was rainy on and off all day long, and I had planned to run with my girlfriend because she said I can call her my girlfriend now. So instead of running in front of my house, I plan on running with her at a 5K park out in the west end of Beaumont, and it is actually designed as a 5K running track. It's in a park setting, but the concrete is actually demarcated with quarter-mile markers on it. But by the time I got up to her house and the clouds started coming over and the rain was so intermittent, there was really just no way of predicting whether or not there was going to be a break long enough in the clouds to get out there and not get rained on and get my phone wet and do all that kind of stuff. So I think we're both kind of happy that the run didn't happen, but I'm committed to this. So here it is Sunday morning. I'm going to be running this morning for certain. I am kind of glad that I had one more day off. My feet were pretty sore since last Saturday, since the last run. Both my feet were hurting on Friday, and I was really concerned about Saturday morning. And this just gives me a 3-day break instead of a 2-day break in running. So both my feet are feeling all right this morning. No leg stiffness, no muscle soreness, no knee problems. So sorry for dragging this out a little bit too long. Let me get out there now. So there should be no reason why I shouldn't finish today. Just it's going to be just a mental hurdle, overcoming the mental blockage I have, saying 22 minutes is a long time. 22 minutes, you hadn't done it before. 22 minutes, man, can you really? Can you really? And so far, every time I've hit one of these longer runs, it's just been not a physical battle, because I don't actually ever get exhausted, and I do not run out of breath to the point of hyperventilating. So it's all a mental game. So I'm going to go out there. I'm going to do my mental game. I'm going to push through this. I'm going to make my 22 minutes, and you're going to come back, or I'm going to come back, and you're going to see me completely exhausted, pouring with sweat. My shirt, well, you can't see my shirt, but let's see if I can tilt it up a bit. Yeah, my black t-shirt here, not wearing my work shirt. I'm wearing my t-shirt. Yeah, so let me get out there and get this over with, and I'll be back in a couple seconds. Well, I forgot to talk about my weight this morning. My weight actually started falling again from a high of 212 point something or other to a low of 209.4 this morning. My weight has suddenly started falling again for no apparent reason because I really haven't altered my diet a whole lot. And in some ways you might say I've been eating a little bit worse. Not more calories, but simply eating poor choices a couple times a week. Like uh, last night we had some deep fried chicken poppers. But this is my little journal I've been keeping. You can see where I weigh in the morning in this column. That's usually in the afternoon. And I try to make any notes about as far as walking I've done for the day. And over here is my C25K jogging um, log. And I don't know if you can see this or not, if I can get close enough, but uh, when I was first weighing myself 2 years ago, I weighed myself around 5 o'clock every single day. So on these days where you see these, this is the time that I've weighed because the evening weigh-in can be thrown off by quite a few factors. Those 2 hours between 5 and 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock when I weigh in, I mean, I could have eaten something on the way home from work. I could have drank something. You know, it'd be easy for me to drink 2 pounds of liquids now between the time I've worked out for the day and the time I've driven home in those 3 hours or hour and a half. So these are notes to myself, kind of like asterisks in the record book to show me that it wasn't as accurate as I would like it to be. So, I mean, this is as simple as it gets when it comes to keeping track of your weight, or at least for me. I want it as simple as possible. This notebook has actually been laying here since, geez, I don't know, March of 2013, just a few months after my surgery. So here you are today, 26, 209.4 this morning when I got up at 7 a.m. and I'm about to weigh myself it's 9:20. I wanted to see how much I weighed after jogging and not drinking anything. I've only had about a cup and a half of coffee, so maybe 12 ounces this morning, and I should have sweated that off. Plus I ate a small banana and a half. It's about a 3-ounce banana, and then I took my vitamins, and my vitamins got hung in my throat, and so I ate another half banana to push it down. So let's check out what my scale says, my little Eat Smart scale. I'm going to try to zoom in. Maybe not. It's going to make it more shaky if I zoom in. So you can see my footprints where I rub the dirt off. And you tap it one time, it comes on, and it will reset itself to 0. And then it will only stay on for a few seconds to conserve the batteries. And I always try to stand in the exact same spot. Get my hand off the table. So 209.2. I'm going to put this in the middle. Because it's truly not going to count. It's just something I wanted to see how much water weight I lost, because I'll be putting that back on in the next hour or so when I start drinking my Crystal Light. But it's kind of neat to know that I lost 0.2 of a pound, sweated it off, and I'll be writing down my evening weight if I can remember to do that, because there are some gaps in my log. I'm not perfect at writing it down, but the mornings are always the most important to me. Those are the ones that I count. Hey guys, just wanted to show you a little bit of what it looks like out my front door this morning. It's cloudy, overcast. Although the weather forecast said it's supposed to be clear all day long, no rain, but as you can see, the road is looking pretty dark because it's wet, and my yard is still soaking. I guess this is condensation coming off my roof, not really rain. You can see my yard does need to be mowed, but I got these ruts now because of it's rained so much that when I pull my car up in the yard that I'm slowly destroying my normal parking spot. So I started parking in a different spot now. So yeah, this is where I'm going to be running this morning, up and down this little street. I'm actually going to be doing the whole block because this is going to be the long run today, 22 minutes non-stop, supposedly about a 2.25 miles. So let me get to it. The 22-minute run has come and gone. I did do the whole, well, in the interest of full disclosure, I did have to stop 3 times. Once because my shoe got untied. That was about a quarter mile into the first one I took off. It was about a quarter mile into that. Just stopped for about 10 seconds to tie my shoes. Then, oh, here comes the truck. Let me quieten down for a second until the truck goes by. And there goes the truck. Yeah, so I made the first half mile, and my neighbor has 3 really nice dogs, but one of them decided to take a disliking to me this morning. The little female German Shepherd ran right up to me and was all happy to see me. The other dog, who's about the same size, for some reason was scared of me, although I've petted this dog before, and I guess it's been so long between times he's seen me. It's been at least 2 weeks that he kind of got freaked out. And I tried to get him to come to me, and he wouldn't come, and so I gave up and started jogging again. He started trailing me, and that was okay. I turn and stop and look at him, and he would stop, and then I'd take off again, and I heard him charging me through the ditch. He was crossing over the ditch from his property line into the road. And when he come through the tall grass, I heard him, and I turned and whirled around him and hunkered over and looked at him like I was going to tear his throat out. He jumped back about 5 feet. Depending on the dog, I may or may not do that kind of thing. But I've heard so many dog attack stories that I figure I'm going to do some damage to the dog no matter what he does to me. So I'm always prepared if I'm going to get attacked by a dog to latch onto their throat with my hands as hard as I can and do my best to rip their throat out, because they aren't going to let go of me, and they're out to kill me. So I'm going to do everything I can to kill them, even though I'm a big dog lover. When it comes to my life versus them, it's going to have to be them. Sorry, Pookie. Fluffy has to go. So yeah, I'm back on the porch now. My lighting is pretty bad because it's so overcast, and I'm under the porch itself. So I think the light just adjusted on my camera. So let me get inside the house and finish this up. Hey guys, just wanted to show you what it's like on a quiet morning.
1 minute left.
Yeah, 1 minute left. I'm in my cool down period. Yeah, so this is my main highway out in front of my house. My house is actually back there behind those trees. So part of my jogging is out here on this shoulder. Let's see. And talk about how many churches we have in this area. This is just literally a couple of football fields length from my house, the entrance to my street. I got 2 right there, and I have 1 about 3 miles down the other direction. And I'm not even living in the city proper. I'm about 6, 7, 8 miles from the city limits, and there's just tons and tons of churches. Probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 to 15 in a 2-mile stretch. So, yeah, just thought you might find that interesting. Okay, that's it. 22 minutes down for a total of 32 minutes for this workout. Week 6, day number 3 is in the books. I hate to say it, that I did not run a complete 2 1/4 miles. It was, let me think, I know I was on lap 3, so that's about 1.5 miles. And then I had actually completed one of the stretches of my road, so maybe another 1/8 of a mile, something like that. It would be about 3 minutes of jogging time. So mile and a half, mile and a half, maybe 1.75 miles at the most, I think, was how far I went. But once again, my goal is not for speed or distance. My goal is for completing the entire jog, because before I started this, I might, on my best day, be able to jog 1/8 of a mile. Maybe, I never really timed it, but I'm guessing somewhere around 2 minutes maybe before I started doing all this. And that was back in September. No, it'd be October because it had to be a cooler month. I couldn't have possibly jogged at all during the summer months. So maybe the last of October in 2014 was the last time I actually tried for any jogging time. And I knew that it was about an eighth of a mile the last time I tried it before I was exhausted and hyperventilating. But no exhaustion today except mental exhaustion. I kept paying attention to my stride, making sure I kept as much of a gliding motion as I could rather than a stepping motion where my foot I wouldn't say hammers, but has a impact that I can notice when I step on the ball of my foot. I was trying to kind of, I guess, step up and slide my foot forward a few inches and come down like that, so that I was kind of a rolling gait without actually having any impact on any part of my foot. And it worked out pretty well. It was really all a mental game. My legs were okay, my feet were okay, my knees were okay, nothing physically wrong with me. My energy levels were okay. I mean, they weren't low, they weren't high, they were just right there in the middle. So this coffee helps out quite a bit. And I'm sure all the other supplements, the vitamins and the, what they say, L-tyrosine, it all helps out a little bit. But my feet weren't moving as fast. I could tell that much. I got stopped one time for about 10 seconds while I quickly had to retie my left shoe. I was about a quarter mile into the run, and I felt my shoelace slapping my other shoe, and I had to stop and retie it. I really hated doing that because now I don't have a true measurement of how well I did. Even though it was only 10 seconds, it was still, my mental game got thrown off, my stride got thrown off, and I didn't have the mental strength to start over again. Plus I would have lost all that. I still wouldn't have had an accurate measurement if I had started over because I'd already ran a quarter of a mile. So I've lost that energy, and the mental burden of knowing I've already ran a quarter mile and then starting over again. I don't know. It's just, it was not a good day. And then at the approximately the half mile mark, my neighbor's dogs decided to be friendly. One of them was friendly, one of them was not friendly. And so I had to stop twice to shoo off that other dog that kept barking at me and kept chasing after me. I didn't really know if he was afraid of me, and just how dogs can be afraid, and they just want you away from their what they consider their property. But he was charged at me one time, and that was a bit much. They just follow along and are barking at a safe distance, no big deal. But when they actively come after me, then I got a problem. I had to whirl around twice and stop, and it threw my mental game off again. So it wasn't hard to start running again, but mentally I wasn't there. It took me a while, and I tried doing a different mental game for the counting. I knew that 22 minutes was going to be a long, long thing, and doing my breathing in and out, going 1001, 1002, 1003, trying to breathe in and out for 3 seconds. I've got that down, but since I have a mental problem with these things lasting longer and longer, I knew it was going to take me to more than a count of 20 to finish this run. So this time I was trying to do it in increments of my songs. I know each one of my songs is about 3+ minutes long. In my mental game is I have some of the extra long playing songs, like I think the group's called Wanted Dead or Alive. The song's called You Spin Me Round and Round. And then I had Men Without Hats, Safety Dance, the extended version, so I can fool myself into that I've only been running 3 minutes when I've really been running 4.5, 5. So I knew if I could convince myself that all I had to do was run for a total of 10 songs, that would be more than 32 minutes. So I only actually had to run 22 minutes. So I could fool myself. It's like when I get to song 6 or song 7, I can go, oh, I got 4 more songs to go left. I only have 4 more songs left. And song 7, like, oh, I got 3 more songs left. So I can fool myself, and all of a sudden I get to song 8, it's like, oh, your run is done. Begin your walk cool down. It's like, yeah. So I'm always trying to find some mental game to play with myself, because so far this running has been completely mental. It has been nothing physical other than a few aches and pains. This time my hips didn't hurt, my glutes didn't hurt. It was all a mental game. It was all the thoughts of like, man, 22 minutes, that's such a long time. And every time I would think that, I would try to turn it around and tell myself, 22 minutes, that ain't nothing. 22 minutes. I mean, you play one round of Balloons Tower Deluxe for 22 minutes. I mean, you sit there for 6 hours and play StarCraft, playing one game of StarCraft for 6 hours, and all you do is all you ever leave for is to go to the bathroom and to go get more Crystal Light lemonade or maybe something to eat. It's like 22 minutes. I mean, if you've been at work for 22 minutes, you can work on a project in 2 hours is gone. 22 minutes is nothing. So you can do 22 minutes on your head. So that's how I play mental games with myself. I tell myself, like when I started this one, my mental game was off, and I told myself, okay, look, you know you can run 2 miles. You know you can. But I tell you what, if you're feeling truly bad, if you're truly exhausted, you're truly hurting, you have not a BS excuse, but a real, true excuse. Run 1 lap. Do the half mile. If it doesn't work out, you can stop. And I tell myself that every lap. So all I have to do is I have to run 1 more lap. Just run 1 more lap. If I run 1 more lap and I don't feel good and I have a real excuse, then I will quit. And every time I get around there, it's like, yeah, I think I could do 1 more. Just 1 more. But it also helps knowing that I have a time limit, knowing that I don't have to go farther than 22 minutes. So if it was open-ended, then I don't know where to stop. I don't know what the goal is. And it's hard for me to set my own kind of goal that way because I don't know what other people have gone through and how long it took them. So, even though I don't like to compare myself to other people, it does help to have a comparison to know that I'm working hard enough, but I'm not working so hard that I'm going to be discouraged and have a goal that I just know is not for me. It's not that it's unachievable, it's that I don't want to achieve it. That's the difference. I mean, right now, people are occasionally asking me if I'm going to run a 5K. Well, in my mind, if I can finish all the weeks of this, I have run a 5K. I don't need to go to an official event and pay money and run with other people to validate that I can run a 5K. I'm just not built that way. But I probably will run a 5K because my girlfriend, she's already like, when are we gonna get together and run together? I said, okay, well, fine. When are you gonna show me that you could run 2 miles? Because right now I know she can't run but a mile, so I'm already a mile ahead of her, a mile plus actually ahead of her. That was one of the reasons why we had planned to run on Saturday, and I really did want to get some shots for y'all of the 5K park that we were going to go to, but it really was intermittent rain all day long, and the park is about, I don't know, 15 minutes from her house, so it was a long shot of getting in the car, driving over there, starting the jog, and then being caught in either a light downpour or a heavy downpour and having to stop and getting my phone wet, and I didn't want to take a chance on messing up my run. I probably would have ran in the rain if my shoes didn't fill up with water. I'm afraid of getting blisters. But as I said before, I think in the first segment, I really was hurting. My feet were more than a little sore, and it had been building up for the whole week, starting with that 20-minute run at the end of week 5, and it just never seemed to really ease up. So having 1 extra day off really made a difference, although I'm going to have to run Monday night, tomorrow night. So yeah, it was something else I wanted to make sure y'all knew about, because I'd like to tell you every detail that I could, because that's the kind of person when I'm researching something or want to know what somebody else has gone through. For example, when I first started following the weight loss surgery boards, people would go, oh, I'm losing 20 pounds a month. I'm losing 25 pounds a month. I lost 100 pounds in 5 months. It's like, okay, but what are you doing? Are you just, following the diet that they gave you out of the hospital, where you're just eating 500 calories a day or 800 calories a day? Are you eating vegetables? Are you just all you're doing is drinking liquid protein drinks? Are you eating protein bars? Are you working out for 2 hours a day, on a treadmill and then doing cardio or doing heavy lifting? And so like, oh, we're losing 20 pounds a month. And okay, I'm losing 13 to 18 pounds a month and I'm not doing any exercise other than, just very, very limited walking when I first was in recovery for the first, I guess, at least the first 2 months, maybe 3 months. I could not walk that far. I didn't have the endurance. My feet had these mystery pains in them. And so I started out by walking the perimeter of my office inside. We had my old job, the interior of the building was actually shaped like a baseball diamond, that triangular shape with a curve on the outside where the outfield would be. And so I could make a complete circuit and, wind up where I started by following the inside perimeter of my office. So I started out by every morning before I'd get there 20 minutes early, and I would walk 4 laps around the inside of the building. And that was about my limit because my feet would start hurting shortly after that. But after a few weeks, or maybe a month, I was up to walking 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at lunch around the interior perimeter. I don't know how far it was. I wish I could remember. I want to say it was 3,000, 4,000 steps. By the end of the second month, I had my little pedometer, and I was keeping track, and I was shooting for 10,000 steps a day. And there were many days where I was getting up to 6,000, 7,000 steps. And then after that, I started walking in the parks with my friend. I think we probably started out going half a mile or a mile. And between the walking inside the building and the park, I was hitting my 10,000 steps a day. So it just kept building and kept building. And eventually my feet adapted, my mystery pains went away, and I could go further and further. So it's taken two years and 4 months to get to this point, 2 years and 3 months to get to this point, from being barely able to walk from my car to the entrance of Walmart to actually jogging 2 miles. So it's better than not being able to do any of it. So it's been a slow progress, a long, long adventure. Yeah. Hopefully y'all will take a little bit away from that, so that, if you just do a little bit every day, keep improving every day. You don't have to overwhelm yourself, but just do a little bit every day. And my last little thought is about, I guess you could say, paying it forward, in engendering courtesy. I was noticing this morning when I was jogging, a lot of drivers, there was only 3 or 4 that passed me up while I was jogging on the highway. And like I said in the beginning, I have this phobia, this recurring, I guess, flash in my head. When I'm jogging that straightaway on the highway, I can just see a car heading toward me, and just as it almost gets to me, it will suddenly veer off onto the shoulder and take me out. So I'm always watching for that, always paranoid about that. And I noticed one of the drivers who was on the right-hand lane coming toward me, way before he ever got to me, he saw me and he pulled in the left-hand lane. And I just waved at him saying, thank you. And he didn't have to. There's so many people, walkers, joggers, guys on bicycles, guys on motorcycles, or whatever. They take it as an entitlement that people should pull over for them, should get out of their way. It's like, if you would just take a couple of seconds and virtually put forth no effort whatsoever and just wave at them, just say, thank you. That would go so far into making this a better world. People just want to be appreciated a little bit. It costs me nothing, unless you want to be one of the people who are one of those people who are hard all the time. It's like, I'm tough as nails, I don't give an inch. Well, no one's going to give you an inch either. You feel like you have to take everything and you can't show any weakness. I don't consider it showing any weakness by waving and saying thank you and please, and I appreciate it. When someone is in the aisle at Walmart, if you go to Walmart, the aisles are barely big enough for 2 carts to pass each other. Plus, they always put these damn piles of product blocking the aisle, so even another third or an eighth of an aisle is taken up, so you can't usually, two buggies can't pass each other easily. And sometimes I'll be heading towards somebody, and they'll be heading toward me, and they're a little bit too far in the center, and they'll actually, pull their buggy to the side a little bit to make sure I have room, and I'll pull mine to the side. And as I pass by them, I'll say, thank you, appreciate that. Or if they're looking at something on the shelf and they're so far back against the other side of the aisle that I have to walk in front of them, I'll look them in the eye, and I'll say, excuse me, just a polite way of, showing them I didn't mean to disturb them, that I respect them as a human being, and then I just acknowledge that they exist instead of keeping my head down and staring at the floor like a lot of people do. A lot of people are, I guess, they're not trying to be hard. They just don't know what to do. They don't know how to behave in a socially awkward situation like that. 'Cause, I think it all boils down to we're all, I wouldn't say all. I hate to say all. I don't want to be all encompassing. I would say I and some other people have a fear of social rejection. That's what it comes down to, I think. So I just decided one day that I was going to be nice to people, look them in the eye, and just acknowledge that they exist. I don't do that in cars. I don't stare across somebody in a car. That's a threatening gesture. And when I'm in a store and I have to walk past somebody and I'm stepping in their way, I say, excuse me. If someone gets out of my way, I say, thank you, I appreciate that, and just keep on my way and let them know that, they did a good thing, and they may start doing it themselves. They may start saying thank you and appreciate that, or excuse me when they get in somebody else's way and need to pass. It doesn't hurt nothing, doesn't cost nothing, and it might potentially add up to a bigger thing. So, yeah, that's my little hopefully pay it forward, make life better for the people around you story. Those little things do add up over time. So yeah, week 6, workout number 3 is in the books. Literally 2 more weeks, 6 more workouts to go. And yeah, I don't know if I want to do a C to 10K or not. This has been a really big adventure. Didn't believe I could do it. I don't know if I want to try to do 10K, because that's going to be at least doubling the running time. 30 minutes seems like a long time as it is. So we'll see how this adventure ends. So this is Joe Saint checking out from VSG land, and workout number 3, week number 6 is in the books. Keep pimping that sleeve.